Your contact with this information is no accident. Your search for truth and deeper meaning has led you here. But remember, the truth is not outside you. It comes from deep within you. There is more to this reality than you are being told. And we are all secretly asking ourselves the same questions. Who are we? Why are we here? And what is our destiny?
From the earliest age I can remember, I was having dreams of flying cylinders in my backyard at the house I grew up in. And these cylinders did not have wings, and they would sort of flutter in the air. Interestingly enough, I also had many meetings with an old man who seemed to be connected to these flying cylinders. And the old man had gray hair, a gray beard, he had a robe, he wore sandals. Now this man had such a connection to me that I actually would cry when I woke up from these dreams. In these dreams, he was telling me that a stupendous event was going to happen in humanity's future within my lifetime, that it would lead to some sort of evolutionary leap for us in what it means to be human. And he also told me that I would have a very key role to play in this awakening, and that I would be needing to learn as much about science as possible. And also, he gave me a key interest in UFOs and ancient civilizations. I was taught to spend a lot of time looking into the stone monuments around the world. I felt that was very important, and I also wanted to understand what were these craft that he seemed to have emanated from. A very powerful event happened when I was 5 years old, where I woke up in the middle of the night and I was floating over my own body. Now, my body was alive. I was breathing in bed. I could see myself sleeping. But interestingly enough, my astral form, or ghost body as I was thinking of it back then, had the same pajamas on that I was wearing. So I'm literally looking down at myself, seeing myself sleep. I then floated down the hallway feet first, and I felt as if there were voices talking. I felt a very strong, energetic presence. And then I stopped at my stairwell that I would go downstairs through. At that point, my body on its own turned 90 degrees and tilted up on an angle, and then I began to drift down the stairs. As I surged with fear, thinking, oh my God, I'm dying, the experience suddenly terminated, and I was not able to go farther. I've come to believe that most likely I did have more experience after that moment in the stairwell, but that I was spliced back in to my body without the memory being conscious. As I grew older, this out-of-body experience compelled me to try to get another chance. And so for 2 years, every night I prayed to get a chance to fly out of my body, meet the old man in person, quote unquote, instead of a dream. After 2 years, I said what was going on to my mother, and thankfully she was progressive enough to tell me, what you had happen to you is one of a series of things called extrasensory perception, or ESP. So literally, I'm a 7-year-old kid, and I go under the stairwell in the basement of the house, and sure enough, there's these paperback books, and one of them says ESP in big letters. And this was How to Make ESP Work For You by Harold Sherman. I began reading the book, and you have to remember that I'm in 2nd grade, and most kids are reading Clifford the Big Red Dog. And I did not understand a lot of the words, and I would have to use context, but I was able to get through it. And for me, reading people's minds, knowing what they were thinking, that was commonplace. I was very aware of what people were going to say before it came out of their mouth. I was very attentive to things like the eyes, to body language, to the ambiance, the nuance of a particular environment I was in. So all that stuff in my early childhood seems anomalous until you start talking to certain insiders, at which point you realize this all fits in with a greater mosaic, suggesting that, like many others on Earth, I'm not saying I'm unique here, there was extensive extraterrestrial contact that still to this day I have not been able to recover the memories of. Everyone in the UFO community is faced with a seemingly outrageous challenge to try to make sense out of the enormity of material that there is to study. How do you effectively navigate a course through an incredible body of material that encompasses many different ancient civilizations that have megalithic architecture, giant stones? How do you bring in the element of secret societies and the occult ceremonies that are taking place within these societies? What is the relationship between those secret societies and the governance of our modern world at the elite level? Is there a deep state? Is there some sort of supranational cult that is actually controlling the world? And then, how does this knowledge gel with the concept of a spontaneous quantum leap in human evolution that could be coming our way? A good starting point for this esoteric investigation is to rethink everything that we thought we knew about history.